Good evening and welcome to another session of Confidence Culture Conversations. Welcome, everybody. So, as usual, your hosts today are myself, Elizabeth Olajimi, aka the Thriving Coach, and
Kirabai Kahoot, the personal transformation coach inside and out. Happy to be here with Elizabeth, and we are good to go, Elizabeth, today.
yes, we are. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. So, Kirubai, how has your week been so
My
far?
week,
It's only Tuesday.
it's Tuesday, but it was a good week. I did some networking, I did connected with people, and the highlight of my weekend was I had to meet someone I have not met for the last 4 years. So it was good to connect and talk and see where they are at this point in time. And of course, we met for brunch on Saturday for the Kingdompreneur, where the amazing Adam spoke about social media and marketing, which was great. I picked up a couple of good tips, and I was put under the bus with the Pastor Tunji.
Wow, wow. Put
But
under the bus.
but it was a good bus. Bus. I was under the bus. It got me thinking a couple of things.
Mhm.
Something that's I take back and reflect once again. And put when people put you on a spot, it's good because you have to think on your feet. So
There you go.
meeting the rest of you on Saturday was great, and it was a good time of fellowship and connection.
Mhm. That's good. That's good. I'm so glad to hear that. Right. I need to share this. Let me just take a moment to do that. Just share this so we can get some people joining the conversation.
All right.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So,
So
hi,
today,
Kolash. Thank you for joining us.
oh, we are having some new people come and visit us on this chat. Now, let's see who is this person. Polash Kumar. Oh, Polash Kumar has been following us for some time now.
He has. Polish actually deals with, I think it's whether it's social media marketing, but he helps people out with their YouTube pages and stuff like that. And yeah, we he started a conversation with me, and I think that's the reason for showing up to see if he can help me with my social with my YouTube channel.
Mm.
So thank you, thank you, Polish. So yes, we had an amazing time at the Kingdompreneurs brunch. There was so much to take away. And yes, it would be great for us to start seeing how we can start sort of aligning ourselves with the things that we learned, so that we can push ourselves in the social media and the marketing world. There was something Adam said. Adam said, you are your best kept secret.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I was like, ooh, okay. And it just kind of, for me, it was in alignment with the things I'm doing with the Show Up and Shine challenge. So it was very much key to that. And I kind of felt like it's something I've already been working on. So that was like a top-up session, because I'm just doing my thing, but he kind of brought the technical aspect to it. And there were some tools that he mentioned that can help with the scheduling. So I might look into one of them. I think yesterday I popped onto the website of one of them, and I'm like, okay, let's see. Maybe we can start something here and see how it can work. Because I think for me particularly, I'm active on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitter, Threads, YouTube. So, hey, it would be nice to get any help I can get in terms of like tools that can help me to better show up.
Yeah.
Um,
You
so
talked about this tool called Metricool. Did you have a look at it?
that's the one I had a brief look at.
Uh-huh.
That's the one I had a brief look at. So yeah, I might check it out. There's actually a package that Tunji was looking at, with a particular company where you pay, I think it was $37, and you get a full package that includes access to that metropole or metrocall, but
Metric
it
key.
also had like something to do with the website. It had a lot of things. So he actually, I think, signed up the Kingdompreneurs Network site onto it.
Mm.
But it's literally a one-off payment, a lifetime payment of $37.
Wow, that's a
And then
steal.
yeah, so he's exploring it. So we'll see, we'll see. Who knows? Maybe DTB coaching will move on to it as well. I
Mhm.
don't know, but
But
yeah.
but you
So
know something, before we go on to the subject, you know something, between Tunji and you, I'm really getting educated in all these platforms, you know. I'm truly a mouse when it comes to social media. But you know what? It's good to know, and it was really good to learn some good stuff from Adam.
mm,
And that's what we do in Kingdompreneur.
absolutely.
There's knowledge being shared, and I'm happy to be part of it. And well, we all are learning, the process of learning, but it's whether we want to take it on and move on.
There you go. There you go. So yeah, it's been an interesting week, and I shared a couple of things. I think I shared a couple of links with yourself,
Hmm.
Kirubai,
Yes,
just about women.
women.
Women,
Yes,
it's time for us to rise up, and you know what? I'm so excited, and one of the reasons why I'm really excited is because this Saturday I get to do some ministry in the city of Edinburgh.
oh, you are going
Yes,
wonderful.
I am going to be in Edinburgh on Saturday, and Minister Colleen is launching her women's ministry, and I have the privilege of speaking at the event. So I'm excited, and I'm looking forward to it. I just want to see God move, literally.
Yes, and
So
not
if
forgetting, tomorrow we are speaking on a platform.
yeah, before I get to Saturday, I have to go through tomorrow. So yes, tomorrow we have the privilege of speaking with some younger people um, based in India. So that's going to be exciting.
Yes, it is truly going to be exciting because we're going to touch lives with young women from 18 to 21 who are just going to come out of college into the working world, and how they can embrace confidence. It's a co-ed. I mean, it's a mixed college. It's a college where they study business and commerce, so it's going to be interesting. We have to, because it's predominantly a Tamil speaking college, but they do understand English. But I believe Elizabeth will be on top form to share. And my Tamil is, I mean, I can speak, but you know what? I'm very simplified in my Tamil. Well, but we're going to touch lives with our smiles and our PowerPoint presentations and being animated all the time. I think we can get the message of confidence across.
Absolutely. I'll probably do the John Maxwell thing and say, my name's Elizabeth and I'm your friend. So, hey, maybe
Why
we'll
not?
start there.
Why not?
But no, I'm excited for the doors that are opening up here and there, and the opportunities
Mhm.
to be a blessing to people, not just here in the UK where we are, not just in London, but actually across the different nations of the world. So it's an exciting time. It's an exciting time. So what are we talking about today, Kirubai?
So today we're going to speak about another topic from the 15 invaluable law of growth from John C. Maxwell's book. Hey, you got the book. So it's one of those things. He's got 15 laws that he writes about in this book. And today we're going to talk about the law of design. How and when we take the time to design our lives strategically, how it helps us move on confidently. So, to design yourself confidently, it's all about maximizing growth in every area of our lives.
Mm,
So, we need to develop a plan, basically, develop a plan. And one of the things that while I was reading through the book, it was quite interesting how John Maxwell speaks about him designing a plan for his career, because he says you need to what is that, take charge of first your life, and then it will spill over your career. So planning your life. So he talks about a couple of 8 things that he plans. He's a real planner. And it got me thinking, sometimes we just plan our business, and sometimes we plan maybe our lives a little bit. This is me speaking about myself, but he plans everything throughout 8 different aspects. It says even vacation he plans. I thought that was a little OTT, but he's a busy man. He has to put his time, everything on a timetable. So a personal growth, even plan his marriage, hobbies, health, family, faith, and career. And I thought it's interesting. He has to plan everything because time is of great essence for him.
Mm,
He's a motivational speaker. He flies all over the world. He has to meet so many people. And Elizabeth, you and I, one day, we will aspire to be like him because he is my role model. I'm sure he is too for you. So we aspire to have all those dreams come to reality. If we do not plan, then we are definitely failing ourselves.
mm. Absolutely. Like it's so I think we don't realize the benefit of planning. And like you say, sometimes we just let things happen
Yep.
as they do. But if you plan, you can strategize.
Mhm.
If you plan, you are in a better position to deal with things as they come. But if things are just happening in and around you, it's like, wait, I need to get a handle of this. Life is happening. It needs to slow down. But when you're planning, it's kind of like you are you are taking more control of your life
Mhm.
by planning. Pastor Olu, it's good to see you, aka
Mhm.
Coach Olu. You know
Mhm.
the
Hello.
latest branding. I want to say branding queen, but she's got some clothes out that are
T-shirts,
branded. So
amazing T-shirts that speaks for itself.
absolutely. Oh, hello, Maria. Nice of you to join us on here.
Hi, Maria.
so so yeah, the planning thing is so important because we talk about confidence, and if you want to go to become confident in something, you need to have a plan, a strategy for how you can get confident in it. And sometimes we plan a lot for our careers because we want to excel in our career, we want to get to the top. We plan for our finances, but it's also important for us to plan for other things. And I know back home in Uganda and probably in a lot of African countries, we talk a lot about family planning. That's
Mm.
planning for your family. And that's important because people have babies here, there, and everywhere, and it's like, slow down, 5 kids. How are you going to look after them? Where's the plan with that? So it's very important for us to look at the different areas of our lives and see how we can formulate a plan. I remember when I decided that I did not want to apply for any engineering jobs anymore, and I was going to stay working within customer services, I had to come up with a plan because the role I was doing at the time, I knew that that was not it. That was
Mhm.
not the end of me. And I knew that if I don't take control of my journey, then I'm just going to be costing. And 10 years down the line, I'll find myself still in this position. So I sat down, I came up with a plan, and interestingly, the plan didn't necessarily go as I envisioned, but the plan got me out of that role into another role.
Mhm.
So one of the things in my plan was do this qualification. I did it, and that improved my employability. So I ended up in a new role. And one of the reasons why they picked my CV out of everyone else's is because I had that qualification.
Mm.
So that positioned me. But people who had been doing the same role I was doing for years were still there. I left them there because I had a plan. So
Hmm.
if you want to be successful, if you want to be confident in anything, you are going to have a plan. Now, the law of design states that to maximize growth, develop strategies.
Hmm.
And there's a quote by Jim Rohn that John Maxwell puts in the book. If you don't design your own life plan, chances are you'll fall into someone else's plan. And guess what? They may have planned for you. Uh, Not much.
Yeah, it's about constantly having a plan in view
Mm-hmm.
for your next step of growth. And so, do you think that part of planning is like having a timetable?
Timetable is part of planning, yeah.
Yes. So, I think as mothers, where time I'm talking about when my mother was working. She was a full-time, I'm sure your mom was too, a full-time mom and a full-time work. She worked in the civil service, and she was also a wife, so she had many roles to play. So this is something that I constantly hear from women. I do not have time. I do not I have time to pursue my dream. Remember the last time we spoke to some women in the project, the charity, um, what would you call that?
Certificate.
The trust, the charity trust that we went. What was their unanimous challenge? It was time. So, as a working mom, Elizabeth, what would I know you gave some very interesting and useful, valuable thoughts, but I think this is a good platform to share because I personally thought they were struggling with this and strategy was not in place.
Mm. Definitely, the excuse of I don't have time, you hear it a lot. But if you don't plan your time, you will not have time. I like to say to people, the richest person in the world gets the same amount of time. The king, King Charles III, he gets 24 hours in a day. So do you and I. The president of America, apparently the most powerful man, right? I don't know if the president of America still is. I don't know if Russia has taken over, but the president of America, even Putin, gets the same 24 hours in the day. We all get 24 hours in the day, but it's up to us what we do with that time. And if you sit down and plan your time, you can be more productive, you can be more effective, you can get the results that you desire. I remember when I was at university, I remember thinking to myself, I have a lot of things I'm involved in. Let me plan my time. And I literally sat down and I did a schedule of my day, like how my time was going to look like. So
Hmm.
from this time to this time, what I would be doing. So in there, I had like my lectures. So I had my lectures. Then I had the time I wanted to wake up, my quiet time. Then what I'm doing, if it's walking to uni at this time, I had it all on there. And it helped me to be more productive. So when you sit down and you plan your time,
This
you are
time,
taking
I had it
control
all on there.
of your time. You are taking control of it. And you are being a bit more, you will be a bit more productive. Let me come to this comment by Maria. So Fema saying, not sure where it comes from. Do you manage your time or does your time manage you? Like, does your time manage you? That's a good one, Maria. Thank you. Maria is like the queen of HR. If you have any HR related questions, please get in touch with Maria. But it's very true. How do you manage your time? Because if you want to strategize, you also have to be a person who manages their time well. I'll tell you a little bit of a story. Today, I bumped into a young gentleman. He's in his early teens, and he was on his way to school, but I found him sat at a bus stop. The road was blocked, so the bus was not coming anyway. But he was just sat there waiting. And I looked at him and I'm like, "You're supposed to be in school. Why are you not in school?" And obviously, it was because he was waiting for a bus.
Mm.
And for me, I was concerned. I was more concerned than he was about the fact that it was 10 o'clock and he was sat at a bus stop and he hadn't even gotten to school yet. And one of the conversations I had with him was, "What time do you normally get to school?" And he was like, "I don't know. I just get to school whenever." And I'm like, "Ooh, ouch." Like that, I was a bit unsettled with those sort of responses. But it's important for us to take, if you want to take control of your life, take control of your time.
Hmm.
Because how you spend your 24 hours determines the direction your life is going to move in. I know that we say that our lives move in the direction of our strongest thoughts, but how you are spending your time is also a result of your thinking. So your life is going to move in that direction. If you spend so much time, playing video games, you're going to be like gaming is the thing for you. Let's just conclude that. How are you spending your time? If you want to become confident, which is really the essence of this conversation, what is your strategy? What are the areas you need to become confident in? When I started the Show Up and Shine social media visibility challenge, which Maria is on, some of the ladies said, "I want to get confident in showing up on social media. I want to get confident on being on camera." So, well, you've signed up to a challenge where I'm going to challenge you to show up every single day consistently. So that's a good plan. Signing up to this, saying yes to this, that's a good plan. It's a good place to start. And then there's other things that you can bring into the plan. But you got to start somewhere, and you have to take responsibility. And coming up with a strategy, designing a strategy, is part of you taking responsibility.
Mm. Because one of the things that, if you lose time, you never catch it back. It just slips. And one of the quotes in the book, it says that life is not a dress rehearsal.
Ooh.
It's a it's a it's happening life. It's happening life. So we got to get on and catch up and run that race,
Mm-hmm.
but not compromising on our self-care, our time of relaxation, which is all factored in. So time, we're talking a little bit more in depth about time. So how you appropriate time. So, and one of the things is keeping a plan in place. You might think, "Oh, I'm so rigid. How can I be so rigid when I'm a very free spirited person?" I might say that for me, because sometimes you can have a free spirited day in a week where you might not want to follow anything, but the rest of your time is of essence to you, your husband, your children, your family, for your business, and even for your vacation, your career. So whatever it is, take some time to plan. When you take time to plan, your plans will not fail you. If you fail to plan, the plans will fail. So pause for a moment and see how we can start this process of a strategy that will design your life from tomorrow onwards, and confidently move into the things that you have, especially your dreams. How do you want to to honor the dream that was been deposited in you, to bring it out? Because you might not have time at the end of the day. "Oh, I'm too tired," and you just might just flop in bed. But one of the little things that I've been reading a lot of books at this current time. I prefer to sometimes sit in front of a television and relax. But nowadays, I keep the book near me, and suddenly something crops up. I'm starting to journal, as I told Elizabeth. I'm struggling to journal, Elizabeth. But you know what? I keep a book near me, and I'm writing my thoughts. And writing your thoughts can one day be a book of the future.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, putting little things, quotes that I see or something that I like, I'm just writing it down. And one of the things that this book talks about is having different folders for different things, which I thought it was very interesting. Different folders, like if you're very interested in recipes. Some people, you can go to some people's home. I know this is a little bit of domestic here, but some people, when like me, for instance, I don't like following recipes, but I have lots of recipe books. But you know what? Taking those 100 recipes, you might not even be able to cook 50 recipes, but those things that you love to do, like one maybe a chicken roast, a nice yummy Nigerian jollof rice, or a Caribbean curry goat. You might just love it, but you can just extract that recipe and keep it in a folder. So anytime you want, you are there to take it, because you know what? Most of the time we are searching for things, like me. So it's a time waster. So this is practical suggestions about having different folders for different things that you love.
Mm.
So I've started my own folders now.
That's good. That's good. I would love to see what recipes you have in your folder, Kirubai.
I've got many recipes, but most of the time I look, if I like something, okay, I'll do it. If not, you know what? But I've seen a lot of people nowadays using their mobiles and saving recipes, which works. If it works for you, you're having folders in your mobile. If it works for you, why not? Why not? But I'm old fashioned. You see, I'm old fashioned. I'm still having my calendar paper paperwork. So I like writing. I like seeing. I know you can laugh at me, but you know what? It doesn't matter. It works for me. It works for me. I need to transition from that, Elizabeth.
Kirubai, please do. And the transition doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be hard because if you're thousands of miles away from home, you can't be saying, I need to check my diary at home. You can just go
Exactly.
on your phone and check it. Check it.
Exactly. I do take. I mean, I do save sometimes, but half the time I forget. Well, that's me. Anyway, let's move on. I'm being very honest.
No, thank you for the honesty. Thank you for the honesty. Um, Coach Muir, it's good to see you. Bonjour or bonsoir, um, should I say? But yeah, Kirabai, that the paper diary, like we need to move forward. It's good, but let's have something electronic as well, so you can do electronic and paper.
So, double teaming and a backup plan.
Yeah, something like that, something like that. But you know what? Honestly, when we when we don't plan, then we can't expect something to happen.
Mhm,
The best way to ensure something happens is by having a plan.
mhm,
That's not to say that the plan is going to be 100% failure proof, but it means you're already positioning your mind for it. That's why you don't just come into a new year. Plan for your new year.
mhm,
If you are a business owner, sit down and come up with a plan. What you want your year to look like. If you are someone who has a vision, do your vision board so you have an idea, so you have a plan. And when we have a dream, when we have a vision, that dream, that vision is not going to come to life until we have a plan for how we can make it come to life. So, what are the things that you need to be doing to make it come to life? You break down your steps. When we talk about goals, you can have a goal, but if you never plan how to effectively accomplish your goal, then it's just a wish. It's just a wish.
And and that's so rightly so. It's just a wish, and the wish is taken away by the wind when you don't put it on paper or even electronically. But it gives you, when you have a strategic plan, it also helps you measure. Like, we are already on the seventh month. We already can start planning for next year and see what worked this year, what it didn't work this year. So we will not repeat. We learned from it, and we will not repeat it next year. Maybe there is a little tweaking in the way we present ourselves, or the way we do our life, or the way we do our business, or the way we run our family, where, with the credit crunch, where we can pull back on our expenditure. There's so many things that we can learn from this current year as we project for next year. So so strategic planning works both ways. You learn, and also it pushes you to see the bigger picture next year. Don't you think so, Elizabeth?
No, very true. Like Maria said, the plan helps to keep her focused.
Yes.
It helps to keep her focused, and I think that's so key. That when we have a plan in place, it gives us direction in the things that we are doing. So if you start your year with a plan, you already have a sense of direction of where you're going with your year.
Mm-hmm.
As I think in every area of our lives, we need to have a plan. We need to have a plan. In our walk with God, we need to have a plan. Like, how do I grow in my faith?
Mm-hmm.
Your level of relationship with God cannot remain the same way it was when you were first a Christian. It has to change. It has to improve. So develop a plan. Your finances, develop a plan. Your business, develop a plan. Your family, your relationships, develop a plan. If you want something to grow, be intentional. Put a plan in place. Don't just expect success to happen. Don't just expect relationships to be good. You need to have a plan where you invest in those relationships. Like, a plan is it's so necessary. Like, for some of us who say life is stagnant, or like, I feel like I'm going nowhere, we're procrastinating a lot, go back to the plan. If ever you had a plan, if you
Mm-hmm.
didn't have a plan, let's go to the drawing board and put a plan in place. But if you had a plan, go back to that plan. Where are you on that plan? What do you need to start doing? And there's things that sometimes we have to be really honest with ourselves, where we haven't made movement on the plan.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, and I think I mentioned this, even the last time we had the session, when we talked about the law of environment. um People plan when they have kids. They start planning. Some people move house because they want their children to go to a particular school, because they're planning. They're seeing this school and they want to get their kids in it, so they have to plan strategically. And like, one of the things that we did is we took Janaya out of her nursery that she was in, into a new nursery that was at the school that we wanted her to go to. Because when we went and viewed the school, one of the things they say to us was, if your child is already here, it's easier for them to get a place here.
Mm-hmm.
It's not guaranteed, but it's easier. So it was a no-brainer. We decided we're going to move her. And did it cause some instability? Yeah, because we moved her in January. But because we had a plan that in September, she needs to be in this school for reception class. So we had to
Lovely.
move her then. So your plan needs action. You have to have some steps that you can take action on, or be smart. If you're setting goals, be smart. If you want to, if you have a plan to, I don't know, to get a particular qualification, how are you going to get to that qualification? What do you need to get to that qualification? What steps do you need to start taking to achieve that qualification? So you have to be willing to ask yourself certain questions to get to that place.
I think you all know when you plan, you also prioritize what is important for you and what is not important for you. What is not, you can list down your priorities and you can number them. What is your top priority and what is your least priority when you see the bigger picture. So planning also helps you be more financially stable. I mean, I know those days when I was working in the bank. I had two different accounts. One is uh, my daily whatever I need, something that I can keep drawing, and I always had another account. You can't have two accounts in the same bank. That's how we were. But I mean, personal accounts, but I used to have another account in another bank where I put towards travel. I just saved up a little bit because then you're not, it's quite far away. You're not tempted to go and withdraw and don't have an ATM card. So I always did a direct transfer, a standing order to put money aside for my travels. So when I've planned my travels, oh, I had a little pot of money I could use. So that was taught to me by my mother. Put money aside and the ATM cards, keep away from ATM cards. But we are so accustomed to the ATM card now, just go and take out money. But whatever you desire, whatever you like, or something that you really want to buy, a car maybe, put aside some money. Planning your finances for a house. Especially, I was talking, Elizabeth, we were talking about it's a buyer's market now. House prices are reasonably lower now. So maybe you can save some deposit for a down payment and buy a house. You never know, but you need to plan. You need to plan.
That's it. I think if something is important to you,
Mm,
plan for it.
mhm,
Have a strategy in place for it if it's important to you.
mm.
As much as you're able to, have a plan in place. Otherwise, the time will come and you're just staring into space. So it's important that when something is a top priority to you, that you plan for it, you make time for it, you have some sort of strategy in place for it. So whatever you are working on, whatever you are working towards, have a plan, put in place some strategy, and just bringing us back to this confidence conversation. If there's something that you want to become confident in, start to put in place some sort of plan for you to grow your confidence, because your confidence will not automatically grow. There must be something that you will do in order for that confidence to grow.
And it also promotes consistency, you know, something you do every day, you know. And some people do it every day, but you can take little breaks like me. I love taking little breaks, cup of tea, a biscuit. But you know what? Doing something consistently. Robert and I know of a family. They have a son who, you know, every day he could play 15 instruments when he was 12 years old.
Wow.
And it's amazing. And the mother, who's also a lecturer, she made him play these 15 instruments, practice every day, 5 8 minutes, 5 to 8 minutes, 5 to 8 minutes, 5 to 8 minutes, maximum 10 minutes. And now He's finished college. I mean, finished his O levels. He's going into a music school because he loves music. He could play 15 instruments, and it was not something that she did make him practice for 1 hour. It was just between 8 to 10 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes, because we visited them and we saw all the instruments because he had the love to pursue his dream. So I thought that was very, very, very good of the mother to pick up that he was not very academia. He was not very academic, that boy, but he loved his music. So now he has a channel where he can realize his dream and also make it a career that he loves.
That's an amazing story, and I guess a challenge to all of us who are, I guess, still having younger kids to really plan for them. And what I like about what you said is really that when you see something in somebody, like you can nurture it, especially if they're a child. As a
Mhm.
parent, you're in a position to help them nurture whatever that is inside of them. And for all of us, like if you see that you're great at something or you enjoy something, start to nurture it. Myself and Tunji were having a conversation with um with his sister, and talking about one of his nephews who loves to draw.
Mm.
And he literally, do you know what he did? He drew his friends' names, or he wrote his friends' names in like bubble letters, was what he used. And they paid him a little bit of money for it.
Oh, why?
And he's in year 6 on his way into year 7. And we say to him, we were like, if you love art, like start practicing,
Mhm.
because this can take you far. Like if you've got the hang of it, and you love it, start making something of it. Like you're only at this age, and your friends are paying you just to write their name in this design. Then there's something there. There's a raw material that can be nurtured. There's a diamond in the rough. It just needs to be worked on. So like when we see something about ourselves, develop a plan, which is kind of like what I was saying with my job situation back then. I had to develop a plan, and I started working towards it. And because I was working towards it, I am not where I was then, because otherwise I would still be in a call center in the bank somewhere
Mhm.
if I hadn't worked on it. But I'm in a different place today because there was some sort of plan in place. There was some sort of strategy in place that meant I was moving. And when I moved, I wasn't moving lower, I was moving higher. I was moving higher. I was moving higher. So if you want to move from where you are today, if you
Mhm.
want to shift, and I'm not talking about like where you stay particularly, I'm just talking about like mentally, financially, business wise, career wise. If you want to experience some sort of shift, you need to start putting a plan in place. So look at where you want to go and start putting a plan in place, and then start taking the steps. So when you have a plan, start taking the steps so that you can get to that place that you want to get to. But first of all, envision where you are trying to go. Have an idea, have a picture of where it is that you are trying to go, and then gradually start building, start building. It will come to pass. It will come to pass.
It will come to pass. Most definitely, it will come to pass because it is something that you cherish in your heart. You've put it on paper. Make your vision known on paper, and it will come to pass by pursuing it consistently, by seeing a bigger picture, by taking the things that are of priority and taking away the things that are of less importance to you, and having effective measurements on the plan, bite sizes, but plan for a longer term, and then you will definitely realize your dream.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So have a plan, have a plan, have a strategy in place for anything that you want to do to achieve. Have a strategy in place, and I'm just reminded of, when Tunji is teaching people how to write books. One of the things he talks about is have a plan for your book. Don't just start writing, have a plan, because you find some people will say, oh, I started writing my book. When did you start? Like a year ago, 2 years ago? I've been writing for a while now. And it's like, well, do you have a plan? Did you have a plan? No, they didn't. So the process takes longer when you don't have a plan.
Mm.
It takes longer when you don't have a plan. So put a plan in place.
I think everything takes longer if you don't have a plan. And that's what you lose precious time.
Mm-hmm. Because it also becomes something almost like try and error.
Yeah,
Like, oh, I'll just try this, or
yeah.
just try that, or just try this. What is the plan? What is the bigger picture that you are working towards? Sit down, draft a plan for it.
And everything becomes so laborious that by the time you start the plan, you lose sight and you lose interest, and then you lose the whole picture. Yeah, it's sad, but most of us have this kind of an attitude: que sera sera, whatever will be. But it cannot you cannot go into that mode, because you need to design your life in confidence, and it's in your hands and in my hands.
Even God had a plan for us, has
Yep.
a plan for us.
Yeah. And he always works with our desires. Most of the time he works with our giftings, he works with our calling, and most of our dreams are all tied up together. God is wonderful in that way. If he had
Absolutely.
picked a plan for you, I'm just sorry, uh, he already had a plan for you in place, because when in the time of your parents' intimacy, there was so many eggs and sperms, but he chose you because he already had a plan in place in the heavenlies that's written in the books. And it's time now to pull down the plan and put it on paper.
That's it.
Don't get me going. I love this subject.
Oh dear. It's all right when you get going. It's okay. It's okay to allow the moment to happen. Don't hide the moment.
Yes.
But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today. For those that are watching, thank you. Share this video, let other people, tap into it. And if there's something that has stood out for you or you have a question, please put it in the chat section. Um, but yeah, this has been a good conversation, and I think there's definitely a lot more laws to explore in the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. It's a book that I would highly recommend if you want to grow, if you want to experience personal development. And this is not just sort of in your career, but if you want to grow, if you want to grow, then get the book. Get the book. Be intentional. The first law that he talks about is the law of intentionality. So be intentional. Get the book. You won't regret it. You won't regret it. You read it and you take actions towards it. It's so important. Like and you know what? I'll be honest with you. Like, I'm not one who likes planning, because I also like to be spontaneous. But put a plan in place and allow room for flexibility.
Mm.
Be flexible with the plan, but have a plan. That's the key thing.
That's the key. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time to say goodbye till we see you next week. And I've already got a plan in place. So, next week, we're going to talk about one of the laws of growth is pain. And pain that promotes confidence. So that's going to be our subject and our conversation piece for our next Tuesday conversation, confidence culture conversation. Pain that promotes confidence. So bye-bye for now. See you.
Awesome. Enjoy your evening or morning, afternoon, depending on where you are watching us from. God bless you.